Yes, sir.
Yeah, I am audible.
Yes, sir. You are audible. But video
Sorry.
you're you are audible, sir.
Okay. Shall we start?
Yes.
Mr. Rahul?
Yes, sir, you can start, sir.
Yeah, I am audible ना?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
सर शिल्पी मैडम को कैमरा नीचे करने के लिए बोलिए.
शिल्पी मैडम आप थोड़ा कैमरा अपना टिल्ट कर दीजिए.
अभी ठीक है सर.
हाँ ठीक है, बेटर है थोड़ा सा और.
ठीक है.
या दैट्स बेटर.
हाँ ओके.
राहुल सर एक बार इंस्ट्रक्शंस डिस्प्ले करेंगे. A very good afternoon to all of you. Myself Ravi Prakash Singh and I am working here as lecturer in special education at NIPID Regional Center नवी मुंबई. आप सभी को नमस्कार. मेरा नाम रवि प्रकाश सिंह है. मैं राष्ट्रीय बौद्धिक दिव्यांगजन सशक्तिकरण संस्थान क्षेत्रीय केंद्र नवी मुंबई में लेक्चरर के पद पर कार्य कर रहा हूँ. आज हमने एक बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक पे ये वेबिनार रखा है and we welcome you all for this webinar. First of all, I would like to thanks to our director madam, Miss Anuradha Dalmia madam, that she has guided us and given us permission to conduct this particular webinar. We also thank our Deputy Director Administration, Major B.V. Ramkumar sir. Under his guidance and supervision only we are able to conduct this particular webinar today. Before we start the webinar, we have few requests and instructions for the participants. First of all, please you will be listen the whole presentation in view and listen mode and try to connect with one device only. Also please mute your microphone. आप अपने microphone को mute कर दें. हेडफोन या ईयरफोन का यूज करें जिससे आपको सही से आवाज सुनाई दे. अगर आपके कोई क्वेरी या क्वेश्चंस हैं तो वो आप अपने Q&A में टाइप कर सकते हैं. ऑल्सो यू मे क्लिक द रेज हैंड बटन जिसके माध्यम से हम आपके क्वेश्चन का रिप्लाई देंगे. We'll take all the questions after the presentation. So before taking any more time, first I would like to request our presenter and our officer in charge, NIPID Regional Center, Sri Datta Chaudhary sir. Sir is working here as officer in charge as well as lecturer in rehab psychology. And sir is having a very vast experience in the field of rehabilitation psychology and working with children with special needs. So आज सर हमें गाइड करेंगे और बताएंगे कि what all steps needs to be taken for early intervention and early identification of children with special needs, because this particular sector is addressed in all the key education policies and guidelines. If we talk about Person with Disability Act 1995, if we talk about National Policy for Person with Disability 2006, or recent one Rights of Person with Disability Act 2016, इन सभी नियम कानूनों में अर्ली इंटरवेंशन और अर्ली आइडेंटिफिकेशन को बहुत ही ज्यादा महत्व दिया गया है. एंड नॉट ओनली दीज एक्ट बट रिसेंटली गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया केम विथ नेशनल पॉलिसी ऑन एजुकेशन. नई राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020 भारत सरकार लेके आई है और उस राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति के अंतर्गत भी जो अर्ली चाइल्डहुड स्पेशल एजुकेशन है एंड अर्ली चाइल्डहुड एजुकेशन है इस पे काफी फोकस किया गया है. और फर्स्ट 3 years before 3 to 6 years of age is a very prime key area under the national policy on education. So without any further delay, I would request Sri Darshan Chaudhary sir to start with his presentation. Thank you very much.
सबसे पहले सबको धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं. सभी पार्टिसिपेंट का स्वागत करता हूं इस कार्यक्रम में. और मैं अपने डायरेक्टर साहब डॉक्टर अनुराधा दालमिया और हमारे डिप्टी डायरेक्टर साहब बीवी राम कुमार साहब का मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ कि उन्होंने मुझे मौका दिया और ये जोहो प्लेटफॉर्म पर हमको यह प्रोग्राम अरेंज करने का मौका दिया। आज का जो टॉपिक है वो है अर्ली इंटरवेंशन प्रोग्राम फॉर द चिल्ड्रन विद डिसेबिलिटी। जैसे कि आपको मालूम है कि अर्ली इंटरवेंशन डिसेबिलिटी के फील्ड में बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, और जबकि नॉर्मली हमारे साथ ये होता है कि जब बच्चों का जन्म होता है, जब तक हमको यह पता चलता है कि बच्चे में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है। आवाज आ रही है मेरी? राहुल, मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
यस सर, आ रही है। यस सर,
हाँ ठीक,
आ रही।
ओके। तो मैं ये कह रहा था कि जैसे कि हमारे यहाँ ऐसा होता है कि जब बच्चों का जन्म होता है, उनको यह पता लगता है कि बच्चे में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है। डिसेबिलिटी बहुत देर की बात है, बहुत दूर की बात है। कुछ प्रॉब्लम है, उसके लिए हम लोग डॉक्टर शॉपिंग करते रहते हैं, और ये सब काम करते करते शुरुआत के जो समय है, जो शुरुआत के जो 5 साल है, वो ऐसे ही बगैर किसी ट्रीटमेंट के, बगैर किसी इंटरवेंशन के निकल जाते हैं। और ये जो 5 साल है शुरुआत के, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। हम इसमें ध्यान नहीं दे पाते हैं, पेरेंट्स लोगों को समझ में नहीं आता है, या जो प्रोफेशनल है उनको यह पता नहीं चलता है कि क्या प्रॉब्लम है, और हमें जो करना चाहिए या बच्चों को जो सुविधाएं मिलनी चाहिए, उस समय जो इंटरवेंशन मिलना चाहिए वो उनको मिल नहीं पाता। उसकी वजह से बच्चे में डिसेबिलिटी बढ़ जाती है और बहुत दिक्कत होती है। राहुल, मेरा पीपीटी दिखाओगे या तुम पीपीटी दिखाओगे? है ना, मैं बोलते रहता हूँ। हाँ, तो हम लोग कह रहे थे कि अर्ली इंटरवेंशन के पहले हमको यह पता लगाना बहुत जरूरी है कि बच्चे को कोई प्रॉब्लम है या नहीं है। तो नॉर्मल सिस्टम यह है कि जिस समय बच्चे का जन्म होता है, उस समय डॉक्टर जो चाइल्ड स्पेशलिस्ट होते हैं वो बच्चे का असेसमेंट करते हैं, और उसी समय देखा जाता है कि बच्चे को देखना, सुनना, उनका मोटर मूवमेंट, फाइन मोटर सब ठीक ठाक है या नॉर्मल है या नहीं है, ये उस समय चेक करते हैं। और जब ये चेक किया जाता है, उसी समय नॉर्मली डॉक्टर बता देते हैं कि बच्चे में कोई तकलीफ होगी या नहीं होगी। यदि होगी तो कैसी होगी, वो डॉक्टर नॉर्मली सभी पेरेंट को या जो भी उनके साथ हो उनको बताने का कोशिश करते हैं। कभी कभी यह बात कन्वे नहीं हो पाता है कि जो भी साथ में हो, जो पेरेंट है और जो दूसरे लोग हैं, उनको यह बात कन्वे नहीं होता है कि बच्चे में कुछ डिलेड होने वाला है या कोई तकलीफ होने वाली है, स्पीच में कुछ प्रॉब्लम होगा या हाथ पैर में कुछ प्रॉब्लम होगा। कभी कभी कन्वे नहीं होता है, और कन्वे नहीं होने से पेरेंट को यह समझ में नहीं आता है कि हमने क्या करना है। तो पहले ये होता था कि डॉक्टर ये कह देते थे कि बच्चा थोड़ा सा 2 साल लेट चलना शुरू करेगा, या बच्चा 3 साल लेट बोलना शुरू करेगा, या 3 साल लेट उसको समझ में आना शुरू करेगा। जैसे 5 साल का बच्चा है तो शायद 10 साल की उम्र का बच्चा है तो 5 साल के जैसा बिहेव करेगा। ये सब पहले कन्विंस करने का तरीका था। फिर भी ये सब समझ में नहीं आने से हम जो प्रोफेशनल है वहां तक का व्यक्ति नहीं पहुंच पाते थे, पेशेंट नहीं पहुंच पाते थे। इसीलिए सबसे पहले यह करना बहुत जरूरी है कि जैसे ही बच्चे में आपको यह दिखाई दे कि बच्चे में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है, तो एक तो चाइल्ड स्पेशलिस्ट होते हैं जिनके पास आप यह दिखा सकते हैं कि बच्चे को कुछ तकलीफ हो रही है, या तो सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है, या दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है, या हाथ पैर चलाने में या मूवमेंट में स्लो हो रहा है, या आप डॉक्टर को पूछ सकते हैं। यदि डॉक्टर के पास से आपको सही मशवरा मिल गया, सही सलाह मिल गई तो ठीक है, और नहीं मिलती है आपको ने दूसरे प्रोफेशनल को ढूंढना शुरू करना है। दूसरे जो प्रोफेशनल होते हैं वो एक होता है फिजियोथेरेपिस्ट, जो फिजिकल मूवमेंट के बारे में बेसिकली काम करते हैं। उसके बाद जो दूसरा होता है ऑक्यूपेशनल थेरेपिस्ट, जो नॉर्मली सेंसरी इंटीग्रेशन से रिलेटेड काम करते हैं। सेंसरी इंटीग्रेशन का जो मेन काम होता है, जो इनपुट और आउटपुट का जो डिफरेंसेस देखते हैं और उस डिफरेंसेस को कम करने की कोशिश करते हैं, वो ऑक्यूपेशनल थेरेपिस्ट का काम होता है। उसके बाद होता है कि बच्चे को यदि सुनाई नहीं दे रहे हैं, या हमको डाउट है कि बच्चे को सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है, या हम जो बोल रहे हैं वो समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, उसके लिए हमें ऑडियोलॉजिस्ट करके एक प्रोफेशनल होते हैं जो ऑडियोमेट्री करके यह पता लगाने की कोशिश करते हैं कि बच्चे हम जो बोल रहे हैं वो बच्चे के दिमाग तक, बच्चे के ब्रेन तक का पहुंच रहा है या नहीं, या बच्चे को समझ में आ रहा है या नहीं, ये पता लगाते हैं। और यदि मान लो वो पता लग जाए कि ऑडियोमेट्री में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है, सुनने में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है, तो उसका जो भी ट्रीटमेंट करना है, जैसे कॉकलियर इम्प्लांट करना है या मशीन लगाना है, हियरिंग एड लगाना है, ये दोनों काम करने के बाद फिर जिस प्रोफेशनल का रोल वहां से स्टार्ट होता है उसे हम स्पीच थेरेपिस्ट कहते हैं। और स्पीच थेरेपिस्ट बच्चे को बोलना सिखाने का काम करते हैं, जिसको हम कह सकते हैं स्पीच थेरेपी दे रहा है या उसको स्टिमुलेशन दे रहा है कि बच्चे को कैसे बात किया जाए। याद रहे कि ये जितनी जल्दी हो सके उतनी जल्दी स्टार्ट करेंगे तो बहुत अच्छा होगा। आप जितना लेट करोगे बच्चे को बोलने में, बच्चे को अडॉप्ट करने में बहुत दिक्कत आती है। नॉर्मली बच्चे का जो ब्रेन है वो अडॉप्ट करता है अपने इन्वायरमेंट को देखकर, और इन्वायरमेंट के हिसाब से यदि वो बात नहीं कर पा रहा है तो वो अडॉप्ट कर लेता है इशारे वाली बातें। तो एक बार जब बच्चा या ब्रेन जब इशारे वाली बातें स्टार्ट करता है तो वो अपने बोलने के ऊपर फोकस या प्रेशर कम देता है, जिसकी वजह से बच्चे को बोलने में डिलेड हो सकता है और उसमें बहुत दिक्कतें आ सकती है। हम लोग कोशिश करते हैं फिर भी दिक्कतें आती है। उसके बाद जैसे जैसे बच्चे का समय बढ़ता है उसके साथ जो काम आता है वह है साइकोलॉजिस्ट का। साइकोलॉजिस्ट का काम होता है कि उस व्यक्ति का डेवलपमेंटल स्क्रीनिंग करना है, उसका डेवलपमेंटल स्क्रीनिंग देखना है, स्कोर देखना है कि डीक्यू देखना है, डेवलपमेंटल क्वेश्चन, कि बच्चे का डेवलपमेंटल क्वेश्चन कितना है और अपने नॉर्मल समय से कितना पीछे है। तो इससे आप पता लगा सकते हैं कि बच्चा डिलेड है या नहीं है। यदि आपको मालूम हो डिलेड हो तो आप रीअसेसमेंट करके यह पता लगा सकते हो कि बच्चे में कितना डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है। और समय के साथ साथ फिर हम बच्चे का आईक्यू चेक कर सकते हैं और आईक्यू के हिसाब से हम उनके आगे का जो भी फ्यूचर है, एजुकेशनल फ्यूचर, हम वो प्लान कर सकते हैं। इसके बाद एक दूसरे प्रोफेशनल है जिन्हें हम कहते हैं स्पेशल एजुकेटर, जिनका काम होता है, जिनको पता चले कि बच्चा यदि एजुकेशन में लेट हो रहा है, एजुकेशन बराबर नहीं हो रहा है, तो हम एजुकेशनल हेल्प से उन्हें नॉर्मल मेन में लाने का हम कोशिश कर सकते हैं। तो ये सब हुआ अर्ली आइडेंटिफिकेशन का। और जब आपको मालूम हो जाए, आप अर्ली आइडेंटिफाई कर ले कि आपको मालूम हो जाए कि बच्चे को क्या प्रॉब्लम है, तो देन हम जो स्टार्ट करेंगे उसे हम कहेंगे अर्ली इंटरवेंशन। तो अर्ली इंटरवेंशन क्या होता है? Early intervention is the term used to describe the services and support that are available to babies and young children. Normally जितने प्रोफेशनल का मैंने नाम लिया है, ये वो टीम है जिसकी वजह से हम बच्चे को सपोर्ट एज अर्ली एज पॉसिबल सपोर्ट दे सकते हैं। ये सपोर्ट बच्चे को हम 6 महीने की उम्र से दे सकते हैं। और जो हियरिंग का है वो बेरा टेस्ट भी होता है जो 3 महीने की उम्र से स्टार्ट हो सकता है। तो वो सपोर्ट भी हम बच्चे को एज अर्ली एज पॉसिबल स्टार्ट करेंगे तो बच्चे में बहुत इम्प्रूवमेंट होता है। तो क्या क्या हो सकता है अर्ली इंटरवेंशन में? एक होता है असिस्टिव टेक्नोलॉजी है, जिसकी मदद से बच्चे को हमारा इन्वायरमेंट समझने की और अडॉप्ट करने की कोशिश करते हैं। उसके बाद है ऑडियोलॉजी या हियरिंग सर्विसेज है, जिसमें हम ऑडियोमेट्री करेंगे। ऑडियोलॉजिस्ट उसका ऑडियोमेट्री करेगा, यह पता लगाएगा कि व्यक्ति को, बच्चे को कितना सुनाई दे रहा है, नॉर्मल से कितना दूर है, या हमारी नॉर्मल रेंज है जो हियरिंग की रेंज है उस रेंज में हमें कितना सुनाई दे रहा है। उसके बाद है स्पीच एंड लैंग्वेज सर्विसेज। इसमें ये होता है कि जैसे आपको पता चले कि आपको सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है तो हम लोग हियरिंग एड और बेरा टेस्ट करके हम लोग कॉकलियर इम्प्लांट की बात करते हैं। यदि यह सब सर्विसेज यदि पूरी हो जाए तो बच्चे को बात कैसे किया जाए, क्योंकि हम लोग नॉर्मल बात करते हैं, जो नॉर्मल व्यक्ति होता है वो हमको देखकर बात करता है। इन्वायरमेंट में जो हो रहा है, मम्मी जैसे मुंह चला रही है या जो लैंग्वेज में बात कर रही है या किसी चीज को देखकर कोई शब्द यूज कर रही है, बच्चा उसको देखकर वैसा शब्द यूज करके बोलना स्टार्ट करता है। ये नॉर्मल एक्टिविटी है। और जब नॉर्मल नहीं होते बच्चे तो बच्चे को समझ में नहीं आता है कि बच्चा कैसे बात करे। उनको तो समझ में आ रहा है कि आप मुंह हिला रहे हैं, कुछ शब्द निकल रहा है, लेकिन वो चीजें कैसे बोली जाए वो समझ में नहीं आ रहा है इंग्लिश में। तो हम लोग जो स्पीच थेरेपिस्ट होते हैं, स्पीच थेरेपिस्ट यह मदद करने की कोशिश करते हैं कि स्पीच के लिए जो जो बॉडी ऑर्गन चाहिए उसके हिसाब से उस सभी बॉडी ऑर्गन का यूज करते हुए बच्चे को बोलने की कोशिश करवाते हैं। उसके बाद है काउंसलिंग एंड ट्रेनिंग फॉर फैमिली। व्हाट नॉर्मली वी आर डूइंग कि व्हेन पेरेंट्स आर कमिंग टू अस एंड पेरेंट्स are very anxious to listen that the child has some problem and the child is not able to adopt or not able to pick up as the normal children. So that's why we need a counseling to the parents, and it is very much important that parents must understand that what is the early identification, what is the early intervention, and how we go ahead, and what are the team members. There are different team members, so they have to understand that what is the role of every member of the team, and accordingly then that professional will work with the children. And also then parents has some role in the early intervention. Now as the child will be with the professional for maybe 45 minutes. Now we are working with the children for 45 minutes. Then what about the rest of the time? The rest of the time the child will be with the parents, and parents has to support to the child while in the being in the normal family environment, and they have to use all the normal environment available nearby the child, and using that normal environment the training to the children has to be provided, and has to be done by all the member of the family. That is, can be sibling, that can be parents, that can be grandparents, that can be the friends, that can be neighbors. All the people are involved in that. That's why we need to do the counseling with the parents and even all the member of the family. Then we need medical services. In medical services, we talk about the child specialist. Then we talk about the maybe psychiatrist, maybe nurses, maybe the other professionals, those who are related to the medical services like ENT. If there is some problem in ear, or maybe there is some problem in the eye, then we need an eye specialist. So we need to carry to the child to the all this medical professional, and we have to check periodically, and maybe once in a 3 months, once in a 6 months. So this will help to the child, and this can be done as per requirement, as per the availability. Then we need nursing services. Nursing services is maybe when emergency is required, when doctor is not available or doctor advised to do something, then nursing services is required. Then we are talking about the nutrition services. Nutrition is if the development is delayed, if it is delayed, maybe moderate or severe, then we focus all our treatment plan on the nutrition, so that whatever food is required or whatever the vitamins we need to the development of the child, that we have to focus. Then we are talking about occupational therapy. As earlier I said that occupational therapist has the most important role in the early intervention therapy, where all the sensory has to be checked. There are different kind of sensory organs, and that will be covered by the OT now, who is available and who will be talking after me, the second speaker. But in general, I can give the idea that occupational therapy will be talking about the sensory part, how the other sensory integration to be done, and then the next therapist will be the physical therapy, who will be talking about the physical and motor growth, how the physical growth is going on, and how to be go ahead. Then there will be psychological services. Psychological services will be like psychological assessment, counseling, and then suppose if there is any behavior problem and some problems with the understanding, anxiety, depression, all these will be covered by the psychological services. Now, who is eligible for the early intervention? So early intervention is intended for the infant and toddler who have the developmental delayed or disability. Delayed means the child, as you know, that there is a normal range. Normal range is the all the person must get the 100 developmental quotient on the specific test. So if the any child gets 90 to 110 quotient or a score, that will be considered as a normal development of the child. Suppose the child is getting a score less than 90 or maybe 80, 85 or below than 70, then it is considered as a developmental delay. So when the child is developmental delay, then we need to go for the early intervention. Right? ये क्या थैंक यू आगे बीच में, देखो ये कैसे आ गया पीछे, देखो डेवलपमेंटल डिले, थैंक यू, उसके बाद और है ये आ गया, ये देखो है ना, हाँ okay. There are these are the importance of the early intervention. There is a mounting evidence documented regarding the importance of the early intervention, and whenever it goes to handicapped condition on the normal development of child, and it is very much important because as I said that if we go, if we don't identify that there is some problem in the child, some problem means any kind of delay that can be in our five part, like in the speaking, maybe hearing, maybe vision, maybe motor, and maybe understanding. So all these aspects, if the child is not able to perform properly, then you should consider as this is the delayed. And once you identify the delayed, it is most appropriate that you go and contact with all these professionals to whom I have given the mention in earlier. So this is early intervention program started by the occupational therapist, speech therapist, and psychologist and child specialist. What is the assumption of the early intervention? A child grows very rapidly in early years. Before the age of 6 years, 0 to 6 years, child's development is very rapid, very fast. You can see that the development of the child or maybe development of it is considered as a 50% of the adult at the age of 6 years. So this size of the brain, size of the head, and if you talk about the speech, the most of the speech is covered by the child at the age of 7 years. Whatever we learn at the age of adulthood. So all the functions, the foundation of the function is developed at the before the age of 7 years. So that's why is 0 to 6 years duration is very much important. मेरे को टाइम देख के रहना, मेरे को बता ना तो मैं फिनिश कर दूंगा. So this is the very important that the child must get all the services before the age of 7 years, and no child should be maybe avoided from this area. Early intervention produces the positive effect in the child. Now the child, whenever we do some activity, the child, suppose the nuclear family is there and there is one child and only parents are there, mother and fathers are there. So there is a less stimulation for the speech therapy. For the speech, there is less stimulation. So because if mother is sitting alone, then child does not get the proper stimulation. So that's why we need a send the child in the school, in the play group as early as possible. Then child when mix with the other children, then that mixing up with the children will help to initiate the various developmental milestones. Developmental milestone will be covered by the autist. Then there is a sensory and thinking skill. Then we are talking about language and social skills, and motor skills. Motor skills basically catching something by holding something by head and walking and sitting position. All these position will be should be done by the child at appropriate age. We have given this milestone of the child, and this should be done. The detail will be given by the occupational therapist. Now we are talking about that public awareness and referral system. When we know that when the child is coming to the child specialist or any doctor, not only child specialist, if it is going to the general medical practitioner, then also that doctor must see and must understand if there is a other medical condition other than any physical condition, if there is a delay in the speech, delay in the vision problem, or maybe motor problem, or understanding problem, all these factors, if you found that there is some problem, the child must be refer to the professional. What is the professional? We are talking about the other a different kind of professional we have given, that is occupational therapy, physiotherapist, speech therapist, psychologist, and special educator. These are the very important, and we have also got the National Institute working in this field. Like for hearing impairment, we got the NIHH. For intellectual disability, we got the NIMH. For orthopedic handicap, we got the NILD at Kolkata. And for visual disability or impairment, we have got the NIVH at Dehradun. So there are 4 national institutes, those who are working in the different areas, and they are ready to help you at any point of time. Any point of time, you can visit all these institutes and you can get the all kind of help, all kind of information. And then, if you are not able to reach to this national institute, you can also reach to us by the helpline. Now, we have all national institute has started the helpline numbers to reach us, so that any problem if you found at any time, where you are in urban area or you are in the rural area, you can reach us by the helpline, and we are ready to provide it. Our helpline is working for 24 hours, 24/7, and you can call at any time. You can inquire what are the services are available, where you can get to services, and what are the services nearby your area. So as early as possible, you contact us, you call us, and you can get the services as early as possible. नहीं लगा नो यहाँ पे नहीं है. So I will request to the second speaker, Miss Shilpi Sunone, and she will be talking on occupational therapy. Thank you very much. Once again, I thanks everybody for listening and attending this webinar. Thank you very much. Miss Shilpi.
Hello everyone. I think there's some network issue. So Ms. Shilpi, the occupational therapist, was supposed to present before me, but due to the technicalities, I will start presenting now. Okay. So I would like, because of the technical issue, nobody could introduce me. So I will introduce myself. I am a speech language pathologist and I'm working in this field since almost 2005. I have worked in different hospitals, Hinduja Hospital, Hiranandani Hospital, Godrej Hospital, and almost 10 years back, I started my own clinic and my own center, Shaunak. So I have been working for the past 15 years almost, and my areas of interest are mostly pediatric population. So I have a lot of experience in that, and recently I've done an autism intervention training program as well from Ummeed, which is in Mumbai. And this is my area of interest basically. So today I would like to thank the director, Ms. Anuradha Dalmia, the director, and Mr. B.V. Ramkumar, who is the deputy director of NIEPID. So now I would like to start my presentation. So if any questions you can ask in the question and answer part. So I'll just start presenting now. So today we are going to talk about, I hope you can see my presentation. Yeah. So today we are going to talk about early intervention strategies for speech, language, and communication skills of children with intellectual disabilities. So today, the scope of discussion that we are going to do is basically assessment. So you should know how to assess the child. Otherwise, you cannot plan the intervention for the child. So assessment plays a very important part, but due to the time constraint, we are just going to go through the technique, the assessment part and the intervention as well, just quickly. All right. So we are going to do assessment, and we are going to work on the talk about the intervention strategies that you can do with the children. So in assessment, first of all, I want you to start with the communication. So how is the communication of the child? Is the child verbal or is the child non-verbal? Okay, verbal, as you know, means that बच्चा एक word बोलता है, दो word बोलता है, sentences बोलता है, and non-verbal is the child who points, who uses gestures. All right. So in case of verbal, that will be covered in the language part. Okay. For non-verbal children, I want you to just assess whether the child understands objects or does he work through pictures. Okay. Does he understand that the picture is same as the object? All right. Second is modality of communication. What is his modality of communication? Does he point? Does he do gesture for eating, for peeling the banana? Okay. So what are the modalities of his communication? Or does he grasp the parent's hand and points towards the object? Okay. Or does he point himself? All right. Or does he bring the object for communication? So you have to check what is the modality of communication. Third thing is objects of his interest. What does the child like? This is very important when you are going to plan the therapy. So you have to assess all these things critically. So what are the objects of his interest? Does he like vehicles? Does he like the food? Okay, what are his objects of interest? And then you are going to use it for communication purposes. And fourth point is physical examination. So how is the child's vision? Can he see the pictures? Can he see it from far? Can he see the objects clearly? Okay, how is the hand-eye coordination? Does he look when he's doing activities? So that is hand-eye coordination. Then how is his fine motor? Can he point well? Can he type on the tab? Okay, so that we have to check before we decide the type of intervention that we are going to choose for the child. Then assessment. So now we'll start with assessment of language. Okay. So in assessment of language, basically you have to check the comprehension and the expression of the language. So when we say comprehension, okay, you have to check the comprehension of the language, not his contextual understanding. Parent has removed the shoe. Now he's going to wear the shoe. That means he's going out. Okay, that is contextual understanding, wherein language is not involved. So even if you say, chalo, go sit on the bed, he is going to go behind the father and he's going to go out with the child, out with the father. All right. So you have to understand, if I ask him without the father being there or without making him dress up, and if I say, chalo, remove your shoes, will he look at the shoes or will he go and try to remove the shoes? That is what you have to assess. So you have to assess the language. Does he understand the meaning of the words that you are saying to him? So that is comprehension of language. That is understanding. So when, for example, now if you want to assess preposition, okay, so you want to assess whether the child understands on and under. Okay, so you are going to make the child keep things on the table or under the table, keep it on the sofa or under the sofa. Okay, not ask him where it is. If you're asking where is the phone, so then it is expression of language, not comprehension, not understanding. Okay, so there is a difference between comprehension and expression of language. So whatever categories we are going to see, you have to assess comprehension and you have to assess expression. Comprehension and expression are many of the times not equal. The child may understand more than what he can express. So you have to check both comprehension and expression. Second, so now we are going to start with morphology and syntax. Okay, so in morphology, we are going to assess the plural forms. Okay, so in morphology is basically the smallest unit of the word. Okay, so how you can join it together. All right, that is morphology. So the example that I would like to give you is ungrateful. So UNGRATE and FUL. Okay, so ungrateful. All right, so how we can join ungrateful? Can we say ingrateful? No. Can we say ungreatness? No. Okay, so that is how the words come together. So that is what morphology is all about. Second, syntax. So syntax basically talks about the word order. Okay, so when you say word order, I cannot say I home go. I have to say I am going home or I want to go home. Okay, so the word order has to be appropriate. Uh, one other thing to remember here is when you are assessing the language, always assess the child for his mother tongue. Okay, never for second language, third language. Okay, so you want a correct picture of the child's language, you have to check in the mother tongue, not in, if the child speaks in English, sorry, in Marathi at home, you cannot expect that you will check the English language. That you can definitely assess, but after you check the Marathi language first. All right, so this is morphology and syntax. So when we are talking about language, okay, we are continuing with language. So what we assessed was basically the morphology and syntax. Now we'll check for semantics. So in semantics, it is basically the vocabulary, nouns, verbs, prepositions, adjectives, okay, all of this comes in semantics. It is also about how you understand and use the words appropriately. Okay, so what do you mean by this? Okay, so for example, now if you ask me, did you enjoy spending time? So if the child has semantic issues, he will think, how can I spend time? I spend money. I don't spend time. Okay, so he will not understand the meaning of it. Okay, another thing is, will you keep a watch on her? So am I supposed to keep my wristwatch on her, or am I supposed to take care of her? Okay, so that is the meaning. All right, so they have difficulty in understanding the meaning part. Then pragmatics. Okay, so in pragmatics, basically it is how you use the syntax, semantics, morphology, phonology, everything in the pragmatics, that is use of language. Okay, so pragmatics is a very, as syntax is, as morphology is, as semantics is, it pragmatics is also a vast topic. Okay, but I'll just give you brief which you need to know. So in pragmatics, it will be topic initiation. How do you go and start talking to somebody? Okay, I just cannot go and tell somebody that I had tell a stranger that I had a call from my mother yesterday. Okay, so I cannot go and tell them about it. All right, so how do you initiate a topic? Okay, how do you maintain a topic? How do you maintain a topic is basically if you're talking about something. Okay, so if somebody is talking about cricket, you have to talk about cricket for some time before you move on to the other object. So you're talking about cricket, I talk about cricket for one sentence and immediately I jump off to another subject. Okay, that is maintenance of topic. Another is turn taking. So I am talking, but I'm not letting the other person to talk. Or the other person is talking, I don't get a chance. After some time, I will lose interest in that and I will move on. I may not go and talk back to the person. Okay. Third is body language. Understanding the body language, whether the person wants to listen to your speech or the other person is not is interested or not interested, or he's showing some signs which says that he's in hurry, you have to finish faster. Okay, or he wants to interrupt but you're not giving him a chance. Okay, so all this comes under the body language. Sorry, I don't have a watch, but yes, so that means that I am in a hurry and I want to move on. All right, so you have to finish your topic faster. So after that comes introduction of topic. Okay, I just cannot go and say somebody, oh, the sixer was very nice. Okay, so what sixer? Which sixer? So are you talking about the cricket? Are you talking about the match that was happening? Okay, you have to give a brief introduction about the topic when you're starting with somebody. Okay, then appropriateness of speaker. If it's a child, I will talk in a different intonation with the child. I'll talk to the child about something that interests them. If I'm speaking to elders, I will speak a little respectfully with them. I will think about what I want to say. Okay, all this comes under pragmatics and maintaining eye contact. So I cannot talk to you like this because then it will show that I'm not interested in talking. All right, so that all comes under pragmatics. So again, communication, language, and now speech. All right. So if the child is speaking, is the child intelligible or is the child unintelligible? How about the phonemes? Phonemes are the smallest unit of word. So phonemes, which phonemes are present, which phonemes are absent. Okay, so this is important for articulation, phonological disorders, apraxia of speech. All right, because with children with intellectual impairments might have comorbidities. Okay, so then you have to see all these things. Suprasegmentals of speech. Suprasegmentals is what is upon the speech. Okay, how you talk. Okay, so what all comes in suprasegmentals? So it is basically stress, intonation, and word juncture. Okay, so in stress, basically, when you're speaking, how you put the stress tells the meaning to the other person. Okay, like for example, if I say, I went out with my friends. So which means I went out. You did not go out. Okay. So if I say I went out with my friends, that means I did not go out with your friends. I went with my friends. Okay. And third is I went out with my friends. That means I did not stay at home with my friends. All right. So that is stress. Intonation is basically when you use different pitch, different raising intonation, falling intonation, and then it suggests whether it's a sentence, it's a question, or your tone is angry, or your tone is sarcastic. Okay. So, like for example, if I have to say today is Friday, so that is a sentence. Today is Friday, that will be a question. Today is Friday. That means I am angry with you. Okay, and I'm saying this because I'm annoyed with you. All right, so that will all come into the suprasegmental. So as we discussed, we have to go through communication of the child. Okay, we have to assess the communication of the child. We have to assess language. In language, we have to check morphology, syntax, semantics, pragmatics, okay, and the speech, how the child speaks. So now we are going to start with intervention, okay. So in intervention, so the basic principles that we have to work on are, we have to work on the strengths of the child. So whatever the child is good at, take up and then work on it and try and expand it more. All right. Functional communication, whatever you're going to teach to the child, it should have some functional value to the child. Okay, so like for example, instead of teaching a why question, it is more important that he is able to communicate for the daily needs at home. Okay, so that is functional communication. Individualized therapy goals, every child's goals will be different, every child's plan will be different. All right. Strategies will differ from child to child. Some child will be good with structured therapy, some child will be good with unstructured therapy, depending on child to child. Fourth is use natural environment. So teaching at home will help the child a lot, because even if he goes for therapies, how long will be he at therapy? 45 minutes of the day, or maximum 2 sessions a day, 2 sessions a week. So it will be like 1.5 hours. But the maximum time the child spends is at home. And I make it a point that whenever I take therapy, I give lot of home program to the parents so that they are able to do it at home as well. So now the intervention strategies, one can be direct therapy, in which here the therapist or the parent is in control and the child has to follow. All right. So you can use DTT over here, discrete trial training. Okay. So other different kinds of therapies that can be that can come under direct therapy. Okay, so showing flashcards to teach vocabulary or action words. Okay, so you have to choose a goal and you have to work on it. If your goal is to teach the preposition on and under, you can give the child lots of play materials, and then ask the child to keep it on the table. Chalo, let's keep it under the table, let's keep it on the table. Or you can keep lot of balls on the table and lot of balls under the table, and then you can say, chalo, let's take the ball which is on the table and let's put it in the basket. Okay, so you can, here your goal is to work on and under. Okay, and you're going to ask the child either to keep it under, on, all right, or you can ask depending on your goal what it is, but here you are going to choose specific items and then you're going to work on it. So now here is an example. This is a flashcard. Okay, so how to use the flashcard is basically for the parents or for the therapist. So how to use the flashcard, therapist already knows, but just a revision. So here basically I will not start talking about the mother and the child. I will start talking about what I see in the background. Okay, so wow, this is a picture of a road and footpath. It is raining. See, I can see some shops behind. Oh, there is an ice cream shop, there is a book shop, there is a cake shop. Oh, the ice cream shop is open. There is an uncle. Uncle is giving ice cream to someone. And see, the cake shop is also open. Oh, but the bookshop is closed. Uh-oh. And see, the mama is having an umbrella with her, and her umbrella is open. Oh, this boy's umbrella is closed. Why this boy's umbrella is closed? Ah, he's wearing a raincoat, so he doesn't need the umbrella. And will he get wet in the rain? No, he will not get wet in the rain because he's wearing a raincoat and he's splashing in the muddy puddles. Yes, that's right. And then they will go home, and then if they are wet, they will change the clothes. Otherwise, they will wear their house clothes. So you can expand and expand on it. All right. So here basically the objective was to teach open and close. So the shops are open, the umbrella is open, the umbrella is closed, the shop is closed. And in indirect therapy. So indirect therapy is more naturalistic, can be done at home and in daily routine. Okay, it can also be led by child. Okay, so the direct therapy was basically where the therapist chose, and here the child can lead us. Okay, so use lot of language and gestures with the child. Okay, explain what and why. All right. So now why gestures? Why not only language? Gestures are also important part of therapy. It is, if you are using gestures, the child might pick up gestures. Okay, but it is your job to give him the language as well. Okay, so if the child gestures eating and you immediately give him food without saying the word eat, the child thinks, okay, this gesture is enough. Okay, but it is your job to say the word eat. Oh, you want to eat now? Okay, I'll go and bring the food. All right, and then you're going to give the food. So the child understands I am supposed to use the word eat and not just do this. And when use the gestures, and the child will start talking. Speaking is more easy than doing gestures. Okay, it comes automatically. So if the child can speak, he will not use gestures. So you have to use a lot of language and gestures. Explain what are you doing, why are you doing, why are you washing the clothes? Because the clothes are dirty. After that, what we will do? We will put the clothes for drying. Okay, if we don't the child. Make him aware of the surroundings. So even though he is sitting and playing, what is everyone doing in the surrounding? See, look, Dadi is watching TV. Look, Dadaji is reading newspaper. Mama is cooking in the kitchen. Look, Papa is working on the laptop. Okay, so you can make him aware of the surroundings, because the language or the communication is not only about himself, it is about others. He needs to see the grandfather is sitting and it is his time to read newspaper. So he should think, oh, he now reads newspaper. So he will go bring the newspaper and give it to him. But that will happen only when you make him aware of the surrounding, so that he starts understanding more. Next is play with the child. It is very important to play with the child. Otherwise, the child just keeps playing one toy and it becomes very repetitive for him. And after it becomes repetitive, what happens is when he starts, if you show him to play only with one toy, it becomes repetitive. His imagination, his pretend play, his that all is not taken care of. Okay, so you have to show to pretend play with the child. Imagination skills develop the language, so that helps a lot with the language. Then create more opportunities to communicate. Okay, so don't give things easily to the child. If the child eats his snacks at 4 o'clock, which is kept on the table, he will come and he will eat it. He will not ask you for it. So where is the communication? There is no communication over there. So you have to make it, you have to take the snack box and keep it in a place where he cannot find it. So automatically he will get hungry, he will search for it. If he cannot search, he will come to you. When he comes to you, you can give him language. Mama, where is my tiffin? I cannot find my tiffin. I am hungry. Okay. So then you search the tiffin. Oh, I'm so sorry. I kept it in the trolley. Then you give it to him. So that is where you're creating more opportunities to communicate. Keep things going to keep the snack box somewhere that he can see but he cannot reach. So again he has to come to you and he has to take your help, and when he tries to take your help, again use a lot of language. So what you can do is you can just pause and look. Okay, so when you say mama give me food or give me snacks, and then you expect, pause, wait, expect, instead of asking what do you want. Okay, so asking what do you want is you initiating the communication. The child is not initiating. Okay, so you have to give a pause and wait and make him understand that I am expecting you to talk. Okay, so it can be a gesture, it can be a look at you, or it can be just a word. Okay, but the communication should be from his side. So you have to keep things out of reach. So make mistakes in routine so child should correct. Example, every time you take the clothes, put it in the washing machine, switch on the machine. After the machine stops, then you take out the clothes, put it in the basket, come out and make it dry. So someday you take the dry clothes and try to make it dry. He will think, oh, these are dry. Why is mama putting it? Okay, then he will say, mama, not here in the washing machine. Okay, so that is what you have to make mistakes. What you can do is you can say, oh no, these are dry clothes. Why am I putting it here? I have to put it in the machine. So he knows mama made a mistake over here. Okay, so he knows that, oh, okay, so this was a mistake. So next time or one or two trials after that, he will start understanding mama is making a mistake and I have to tell her. And depending on child's understanding, you have to work on his thinking skills. Okay, depending on his mental age, if the child can understand, you have to work on thinking. What is the other person thinking about? Okay, we talk something else, we think something else. When we look at something, we are thinking. Okay, so what are we thinking? So you can also work on that. So like for example, if we just go back, okay, sorry, yes. So now if we are looking at this picture, all right, so we can work on, if we have to work on thinking skills. Here mama is looking at the boy and she's thinking, oh wow, he's having so much fun. When I was a child, I also used to have fun like this, so I will not stop him. Because everyone used to say, no, don't do that, don't do that. now mama is not saying anything to me. Oh, I like it. So you can work in that manner. So now work on communication. So the direct therapy, indirect therapy, you can use these strategies to decide, as we discussed on the assessment part, you decide what you want, and then you can work with direct or indirect approaches. So now communication, all right. So communication skills, verbal or non-verbal, depending whether the child is verbal or depending on whether the child is non-verbal. Okay, in case of a verbal child, how you can increase or expand the sentences with gestures. Want water. Okay, so you're augmenting. Okay, you're giving him a gesture to add to the word want water. So if it's a non-verbal child, you have to use so you have to use gestures. You can use low-tech boards that we will discuss now. So either you're using alternate for the non-verbal and augmentative for the verbal communication. Okay, you're going to use that. So you can use gestures or objects or pictures. For a child whose understanding is very low, you can use actual objects to communicate. So you can keep a plate. So when he picks up the plate and gives it in mother's hand, it means that he's hungry. You can keep a glass. When he picks up the glass and gives it to the mother, it means that he wants water. Okay, you can use gestures for a child whose understanding is better. Okay, you can use pictures for a little for older children or for the children who have good understanding, okay, whose cognition is good. So fourth is you can use devices. Okay, there are a lot of devices nowadays. So you can use either low tech communication, gestures, pictures, okay, or you can use high tech communication, which are the devices. So there is Jello nowadays, there is Job Talk, then there is Avas. Okay, so Jello has recently come out with Make My Own Board. Earlier they had given preset symbols. Okay, so we had to choose from those, but now there is an option that you can make your own board with Jello. So you can use that for the children. All right. So this is it. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, you can put up in the question and answer section. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. So if you want, you can ask me questions and I can just talk about it. Also, if somebody wants to speak, I think they can unmute and start talking. Is my voice okay now? Can you hear me? So there is a question saying some students do not speak in class despite teachers' best efforts. Thought they speak a lot home. How to manage such children? Is a question that is being asked. Okay, so basically, yes, that is a lot of many a times this question has been asked, and the parents say yes, the child can speak at home, and then we do not see the child speaking in class. So now there can be many reasons why the child is not speaking in class. Maybe the child is quite overwhelmed by a lot of kids around, okay, or the child is shy in nature, so that's why the child doesn't speak. So, but if you keep coaxing the child, if you say, "Chalo, come on, speak, speak, speak," the child will go more into his zone. Okay, so it is best to give the child some time. Okay, and try, and you can ask the parents what he likes. Okay, so you can try using those things in the classroom if it is possible, managing so many kids in the class. But if still you're interested and you want to pursue it, you can ask parents what is he interested in. Okay, so you can use the same activities at school, and maybe the child will come up and try to speak with you or with the friends, but it takes time, yes. And I'm not sure what the issue could be. There is also mutism, okay, in autism spectrum disorder, so wherein the child speaks a lot at home but the child doesn't speak outside in outside situations. So I'm not sure, but maybe you can try that. What if a child, hello, I think I am audible to everyone, Miss Ria. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you. Can carry on.
Okay. So they said, Mr. Ravi, if Miss Shilpi wants to present, I am okay.
Ma'am, I'm Rahul from Nipit Secunderabad, ma'am.
Okay.
Trying.
Take it. Fine.
Okay.
So you let me know when Miss Shilpi is ready.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So now there is a question. What if a child, as you said, speaks Marathi but is living in Kolkata and he don't know any other language except Marathi, and therapists don't know Marathi. All right. So this is a question posed by Ms. Shruti. Okay. So first thing that I would suggest is if the parents can start speaking in Hindi at home. Okay. So like for example, there are many kids who come to me, okay, who belong to different natives, and then they come and say we speak in Telugu at home, okay. But my suggestion to them is to start speaking in Hindi or English, okay, at home, because everyone will not understand Telugu outside. Okay, so you can continue with Telugu at home, but also start with some Hindi or English at home itself. Okay, so the child picks up Hindi and then the child is able to communicate. Okay, also another thing is now there is online therapy. I take online therapy as well. So the parents definitely staying in Kolkata can take therapy from Mumbai. So I have my patients in Hyderabad, I have my patients in Singapore. So now because of this online, it has become very easy. So I hope that is answered, Ms. Shruti. Okay. So, ma'am, can you please recommend us some simple activities which is useful for children with autism to gain their attention? Nima. Okay. Sorry, Miss Nima. So, what you can do is, children with autism, you have to specifically work on their interest, what they like. Okay. So, any child with autism has an interest in one or the other thing. Okay. So, you have to find out what they like. Okay, a child with very poor cognition with autism also likes sensory play. Okay, so depending on what their interests are, but definitely you can find one or two activities which the child likes. Okay, with the child with autism, you cannot push them around. You have to take activities which the child likes. Only then the child with autism will start paying attention to you. So first you have to use activities that he likes, then slowly bring him in, and then start activities what you want him to do. But initially you have to do what the child likes, so it is lead child led activities basically. I hope that is answered. Next question is uh, how to facilitate. Has somebody joined in?
Ma'am, I am audible?
Yes. Okay, yes,
Thank
fine.
you very much, Gauri ma'am. You have very well attended all the participants' questions also, and due to technical glitch and heavy rain in Mumbai, we were facing some
Yes,
problems.
true.
So, can I take the mic now?
Yes, please. I'm
Thank
just
you.
muting
Thank
myself, and
you.
I'll keep answering the questions in the chat
Chat
box.
box. Yeah, sure. Okay. So, dear parents, sorry for the delay. Professionals and parents, here myself, Shilpi Sonone, occupational therapist. मैं बहुत माफी चाहूंगी कि due to some technical crunches and glitches and due to heavy rain in Mumbai, we are facing such problem. So coming back to my early intervention and occupational therapy, आज मैं आपके साथ ये चीज डिस्कस करूंगी कि अर्ली इंटरवेंशन में ऑक्यूपेशनल थेरेपिस्ट क्या कर सकता है एंड हाउ बीइंग अ पेरेंट और अ प्रोफेशनल और अ स्पेशल एजुकेटर you can clearly, definitely, and very positively help the child in improving his skills, his gross motor skill, fine motor skill, his developmental milestone. Okay, so let's start with what is child development. Child development, as we all know, it is related, uh, is a process every child goes through. This process involves learning, and mastering skills like sitting, walking, talking, skipping, and tying shoes. Children learn these skills called developmental milestones during predictable time period. अभी जो मैं बोल रही हूँ predictable time frame, ये सदियों से चली आ रही है. ये एक natural phenomena है that the nature God has given us. तो right from the ancient, हमारे जो दादा दादी मम्मी पापा हमें बताते जाते हैं कि बच्चा ऐसा टर्न लेगा. 4 महीने में आपका जब बच्चा माँ के पेट में रहता है तब गर्भ संस्कार के बारे में बहुत बोला जाता था. क्यों? जितनी माँ अच्छी खुश रहेंगी, जो जितना टेंशन फ्री रहेंगे, उतना अच्छा बालक का विकास गर्भ अवस्था में होता है. फिर हम जैसे ही एक छोटा नन्हा बच्चा इस पेरेंट्स के हाथ में आता है तो हम जानने की कोशिश करते, पेरेंट्स को दूसरे बच्चों के साथ वो कंपेयर करते हैं कि क्या. तो हम लोग डेवलपमेंटल माइलस्टोन के बारे में एक ब्रीफ आइडियाज मैं आपको यहाँ प्रोवाइड करूंगी. सो स्टार्टिंग विद स्किल्स फॉर 0 to 6 months व्हेन पोजीशन ऑन बेली रेजेस द हेड. जैसे ही आपने बच्चे को जो 0 से 6 महीने का है, 0 से 6 महीने का है. ओके सर, नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. सो बच्चा अगर 0 से 6 महीने के बीच में है, उसके कुछ कुछ हालचाल आपने नोटिस करना है. क्या उसको पेट के बल रखते ही उसको अपना सर उठाने की कोशिश करता है, अपने शोल्डर उठाने की कोशिश करता है. रोल्स फ्रॉम फ्रंट टू बैक, रीचेस फॉर द ऑब्जेक्ट्स विद वन हैंड. क्या वो एक हाथ से कोई उसको दिखाए हुए चाबी या खिलौना दिखा रहे तो ट्राई कर रहा है. 6 महीने तक के बच्चे ये सब कर पाते हैं. विजुअल ट्रैकिंग पीपल एंड ऑब्जेक्ट्स, वो ढूंढता है कहाँ है मम्मी, कहाँ है पापा, कहाँ है कोई उसके आसपास है या नहीं है. क्या वो बराबर उसको कोई ना कोई केयर गिवर या व्यक्ति कहीं तो चाहिए रहता आसपास, जो 0 से 6 महीने के बच्चे हैं. और वो ट्राई करता है कि अपने हाथों को घुमाए, देखे, कभी कभी वो हाथों दूर करने की कोशिश करे, हवा में हिलाएगा. तो ये एक नॉर्मल प्रक्रिया है. अब हमें कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करना है व्हेन वी शुड बी कंसर्न इफ अ 3 month old baby does not lift his head है पर वो अपना सर उठा नहीं पा रहा है, उसका पुअर हेड कंट्रोल है, उसके लेग स्टिफ है. अगर उसको बाय बर्थ अगर उसको कुछ नहीं हुआ है पर बाद में कुछ निमोनिया हो गया है या कुछ उसमें डॉक्टर ने आपको जन्म के बाद बोला है इसके जो डेवलपिंग स्टेजेस है उसके तरफ ध्यान रखिए. तो देखिए वो लेग्स बहुत ज्यादा स्टिफ करता है क्या वो हेड लैग करता है, एक ही डायरेक्शन में हेड को रखे रहेगा, इधर उधर नहीं टर्न करेगा, उसको आवाज देगा, वो आपको आई कांटेक्ट नहीं देगा. या फिर कोई उसको कितना भी खिलौना दिखा रहा है, बजा रहा है उसके पास, वो उसके तरफ अटेंड नहीं कर पा रहा है. तो या तो उसको विजुअल प्रॉब्लम है, ऑडिटरी प्रॉब्लम है, या ब्रेन डेवलपमेंटल डिले है. अनेबल टू रोल बैक और bilaterally any movements are not seen in the child, cannot play in midline or demonstrates hand preferences. अगर हम चाहे तो भी वो नहीं कर पा रहा है. अभी हम लोग स्किल्स देखेंगे 7 से 12 महीने के बच्चे. 7 से 12 महीने के बच्चे रोल्स फ्रॉम बैक टू बेली, वो कुछ भी पकड़ के उठने की कोशिश करते हैं और अपने पेट से एक पोस्चर रहता है खड़े होने का, वो उसमें क्रॉल करने की कोशिश करेंगे. क्रॉल्स ऑन स्टमक, सिट्स इंडिपेंडेंटली, ट्रांजिशन फ्रॉम बेली टू सिटिंग, क्रॉल्स अप स्टेयर्स ऑन बेली, पुल्स टू स्टैंड यूजिंग फर्नीचर, स्टैंड एट सपोर्टेड सरफेस, फर्नीचर इधर से उधर हिलाने की कोशिश करेंगे. वॉकिंग एंड एम्बुलेशन स्टार्ट्स टू इमर्ज, धीरे धीरे वो पैर डालने की कोशिश, कभी पहले हाथ पकड़ के खड़ा होने की कोशिश करेंगे, फिर पकड़ पकड़ के एक टेबल से दूसरे टेबल तक के जाने की कोशिश करेंगे, फिर धीरे से हाथ छोड़ के आगे बढ़ने की कोशिश करेंगे. जब हम एज ए पेरेंट्स अगर इन 7 से 12 महीने के ड्यूरेशन में अगर बच्चा unable to sit independently or play with toys or difficulty crawling or unable to crawl, then we should be very concerned कि कुछ तो lagging है, क्यों है. So the parents have to notice this red flag signals and go to a pediatrician or any children hospital where they can get a very good diagnosis or intervention. So coming to 13 to 18 months, skills for 13 to 18 months. Next slide, sir. Then, sir, next slide. Independent with ambulation, pushes to stand by going through 4-point, stoops and recurves, walks backward, walks sideways, starts running but may fall frequently, ascends stairs using step to pattern with railing or support, throwing a small ball overhead, kicking a ball forward with decreased control, sits self in small chair, climbs into adult chair, walks up down, holding on railing with 2 feet per step. ये है 18 महीने के बच्चे यहाँ तक के आ जाते हैं। अब रेड फ्लैग सिग्नल्स क्या है पेरेंट्स, ये जानना भी ध्यान में रखना जरूरी है। अगर आसपास कोई है जो ये सब चीजें नहीं कर पा रहा है तो कैसे हम आइडेंटिफाई करेंगे? वॉक्स ऑन द टोज और लेग्स विद अ वेरी स्टिफ एंड स्ट्रेट, यानी कि वो घुटने से अपने पैरों को मोड़ नहीं पाते, उनके एक अकड़न सी एक पैर की पोजीशन रहती है, मसल्स बहुत स्टिफ रहते हैं, कांट सिट इंडिपेंडेंटली, या तो वो सपोर्ट ही उनको चाहिए रहता है या एकदम स्लगिश ये रहेंगे, हाइपोटोनिक है तो बॉडी में मसल टोन बहुत वीक है तो वो इंडिपेंडेंटली बैठ नहीं पाएंगे। अगर मसल टोन बहुत ज्यादा स्टिफ है, हाइपरटोनिक है, सो क्या होगा, तो वो प्रॉपरली इंडिपेंडेंटली without support they cannot sit against the gravity, falls frequently by 15 to 18 months, lowers to use the hands or crawls up the stairs। ठीक है, तो ये है रेड फ्लैग सिग्नल्स। नाउ कमिंग टू स्किल्स फ्रॉम 19 to 24 months, running becomes more controlled, stands on 1 foot briefly, walks on line, balance beam with 1 foot on the line, lowers to pick up objects from the floor without falling, jumping up with both feet, jumping down from objects, walks upstairs, both feet up per step without rail, walking backward emerges। ये हो गए हैं 19 महीने से 24 महीने के बच्चे ये सारी एक्टिविटीज कर पाते हैं। अब रेड फ्लैग सिग्नल्स क्या बोलेंगे हम लोग यहाँ पे? व्हेन टू बी कंसर्न, फॉल्स फ्रीक्वेंटली व्हेन रनिंग, नॉट एबल टू क्लियर द फ्लोर व्हेन जंपिंग अप, कांट जंप अप कीपिंग फीट टुगेदर, एक पैर उठा पाएगा पर दूसरा नहीं उठा पाएगा। अगर उसमें स्वमग्नता लेवल है सो ही कैन नॉट फॉलो द इंस्ट्रक्शंस आल्सो प्रॉपरली, एक पैर पे जंप नहीं करेंगे, दोनों वन लेग स्टैंडिंग नहीं कर पाएंगे। ओके, सो कमिंग टू नाउ 2 to 3 years skills। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड सर प्लीज। Skills for 2 to 3 years, ascends or descends stairs independently using steps to pattern, walking on a line or balance beam with improved balance, walking on tiptoes, jumping forward, rides tricycle, catches playground ball, securing ball by bending arms towards chest, throw balls overhand 3 to 7 feet तक के वो अपना बॉल थ्रो कर सकता है, ऊपर थ्रो करेगा और देख के बराबर से उसको कैच भी कर लेगा। किक्स बॉल फॉरवर्ड 3 to 6 feet यूजिंग अपोजिंग आर्म और लेग मूवमेंट्स। नाउ रेड फ्लैग सिग्नल्स यहाँ क्या देखेंगे? रिक्वायर्स रेलिंग फॉर असेंडिंग और डिसेंडिंग द स्टेयर्स और यूजिंग अ स्टेप टू पैटर्न। यहाँ अगर स्वमग्न बच्चे हैं वो आपके इंस्ट्रक्शंस को फॉलो नहीं कर पाएंगे, वो बच्चों के साथ घुल मिल नहीं पाएंगे, वो अकेले रहना पसंद करेंगे, वो दूर वो स्टेयरिंग इसमें एटीट्यूड में रहेंगे। ओके, नाउ कमिंग टू skills for 3 to 4 years, can sustain single leg stance for 5 seconds, can sustain static tiptoes for 3 seconds, kicks ball forward with control, catches ball with hands without pulling ball to chest, throws ball at the target। When to be concerned, 3 से 4 साल का बच्चा है और उसमें डेवलपमेंटल डिले है ड्यू टू एनी रीजन, एनी XY रीजन। सो अगर ये सब चीजें नहीं अचीव कर पा रहा है, स्पीच नहीं बोल पा रहा है, मूवमेंट्स प्रॉपर नहीं कर पा रहा है, अपने डे टू डे एक्टिविटीज ऑफ लिविंग जो हम लोग बोलते हैं, खुद से कपड़े पहनना, खुद से खाना खाना, मम्मी पापा ने कोई इंस्ट्रक्शंस दिए उसको फॉलो कर पाना, किसी को अटेंशन देना, किसी को रिप्लाई करना, हाय बाय से लेकर सारी चीजें नहीं कर पा रहा है 3 से 4 साल का बच्चा, so it is alarming alarm for the parents to go and concern of pediatrician. Okay. Okay, skills for ages 4 plus, hopping on one foot, galloping and skipping start to emerge, jump over the objects, jumping jack starts to emerge and bounces and catches ball. Hello? Hello? Okay. Hello?
Hear you.
I hope
We can
I'm
hear you.
audible now.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
you're audible.
तो आज निसर्ग चाहता है कि मैं ज्यादा बोलूं नहीं, बहुत हेवी रेनफॉल यहाँ हो रहा है और हमें काफी सारे टेक्निकल इश्यूज आ रहे हैं. So coming back to a therapeutic session, so developmental delay है, children have not reached these milestones by the expected normal range for learning to walk is between 9 to 15 months and 20, and a 20 to 20 months old child has not begun walking. This should be considered a developmental delay. So professionals, if you notice any child of 20 months old and he is not able to walk properly in a proper gait manner, we should initiate and help the parents to understand and take the help of a proper therapy center or pediatrician. Okay. Next slide. Okay, so how the occupational therapist helps here? So as you can see, occupational therapist room has a very key interest in the sensory integration part. So sensory integration part जब मैं बोलती हूँ तो उसमें आता है bouncing, ball bouncing, then there is various textures, various resources, ball pool रहता है. अब हम लोग जब अभी लॉकडाउन पीरियड में है तब से हमारे सर्विस सेंटर में हम लोग ना बॉल थेरेपी के लिए जा पा रहे हैं और ना ही हम लोग बाउंसिंग के लिए जा पा रहे हैं, ना बॉल पूल में खेल पा रहे हैं, ना सेंसरी इंटीग्रेशन रूम में एक थेरेप्यूटिक सेशंस जो बोलते हैं वो कर पा रहे हैं. सो एज एन ऑक्यूपेशनल थेरेपिस्ट व्हेन द स्किल्स एंड स्ट्रेंथ cannot be or improved, occupational therapy offers a creative solution and alternatives for carrying out the daily activities. तो अभी हम लोग घर पे रह के हमें कुछ कुछ चीजें करना है. जैसे घर पे ही बैठ के आप बॉल बाउंसिंग कैसे करेंगे? आप खुद आपके बच्चों को ऊपर नीचे कर सकते हैं, उसको लैपी पे लेकर उसको बाउंसिंग दे सकते हो, जिससे कि अगर बच्चा इरिटेट नहीं हो रहा है, दैट मीन्स हिज सेंसरी रिक्वायरमेंट इज गेटिंग फुलफिल्ड. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. ओके, तो पीडियाट्रिक ऑक्यूपेशनल थेरेपिस्ट बहुत महत्वपूर्ण रोल प्ले करता है, लाइक मोटर एंड सेंसरी डेवलपमेंट, मोबिलिटी, मसल टोन एंड स्ट्रेंथ, posture and balance, oral motor skills and feeding, use of assistive devices. So occupational therapist has two main goals, short term goals, long term goals. शॉर्ट टर्म गोल्स ऐसे जिसके अंदर उसके में हम जल्दी चेंजेस प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं और वो अचीव कर सकते हैं. लॉन्ग टर्म गोल्स जिसमें मसल टोन उसकी लॉन्ग टर्म लेवल पे उसकी फंक्शनल रहे, उसके अडेप्टेशन टू द एनवायरनमेंट इज इजी. सो हियर शॉर्ट टर्म गोल्स और लॉन्ग टर्म, अगर आप कोई ऑक्यूपेशनल थेरेपिस्ट के पास पेरेंट्स अगर जा रहे हैं या थेरेपी सेंटर्स में जा रहे हैं तो आप उनको उनसे शॉर्ट टर्म गोल्स और लॉन्ग टर्म गोल्स के बारे में डिस्कस सकते हैं. ट्राई कीजिए आपका शॉर्ट टर्म गोल्स 3 महीने से गोल्स सेट, चाहे लॉकडाउन रहे नहीं रहे. यू हैव टू बी कीन ऑक्यूपेशनल थेरेपिस्ट, साइकोलॉजिस्ट, स्पीच थेरेपिस्ट जो 24/7 बच्चे के ओवरऑल डेवलपमेंट में हेल्प करे. लॉन्ग टर्म गोल्स में हम लोग प्रिडिक्टेबल फंक्शनल लेवल पे ज्यादा फोकस करते हैं, दैट कैन अचीव द पेरेंटल एक्सपेक्टेशंस. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड सर. तो इम्प्लीमेंटेशन कैसा होता है? उनके depending upon the developmental quotient, the treatment strategy is decided. Short-term goals and long-term goals are decided, and accordingly the therapy sessions are given. I am audible? Okay. Now I will just brief you about sensory integration therapy.